Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with Josh, who's like a spiritual coach for himself, and he's just been diving into the mystical and just a lot of self-help things. I had him on the podcast last time, and we're just talking about different things, but this time I want to talk about quantum jumping and how there's like parallel realities and different universes, and how you
Yeah.
can actually jump from one to another. It's quite interesting. I mean, I heard about it from other people. I messaged them. I was telling them a little bit about it. I was like, dude, we need to jump on the podcast. So so how's it work? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows how it works, but the process of you working it for yourself.
I mean, it's a beautiful process that I don't even think we realize how much uh, actually works subconsciously because we are doing it already. Because we always think that you know our lives are just like this beautiful waves kind of thing like that. But if we actually take a closer look, each frame is like a film roll, right? It's like segmented, 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 segmented. So it's got all these segments that we put our emotions, our thoughts, our um, feelings into anything. That's
Our
our reality, right?
our attention.
Our intention,
Ooh.
and then we have a choice. Our choice is what divots us to each new reality, and it's so subtle that we don't even realize it's happening.
You mean like so subtle as in like just pressing the snooze
Yeah,
for 5 minutes and it could change your whole world?
absolutely, dude.
Because that five, no, seriously, think about it. Because that
Yeah.
5 minutes, you could get up, you could go to the gym in the morning, you could get T-boned,
Yep.
and it could affect your life, bro. You could be paralyzed for life. Or if you press the snooze button, you might have slept in, you might have not gotten T-boned.
Yeah.
But I mean, you always want to think of the positive, right?
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
yeah.
it's always going to be leading to circumstances um, that lead us to different pathways in our lives that we're always like feeding it because our subjective mind it listens to every single one of our thoughts.
So when you mean feeding it, do you mean like attention or energy flows where attention goes?
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
you have to pay more attention to kind of like you kind of have to navigate it in a sense.
Right, right.
Can you make an example? I mean, because there's a lot of people that talk about it, like change your life, change your energy. Anthony Robbins says, put the attention where you want. That's where all the energy will go, and
Hmm.
that's where you'll gravitate towards.
Right.
But it could go both ways. You could be like negative and pessimistic, and you could have put your attention like something bad is gonna happen to me when I travel, and something bad probably will happen to you.
Right.
Or you could say, hey, something amazing is gonna happen to me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
something amazing will happen to you.
Well, I mean, it's like the last time we were on the podcast, we brought up the double split experiment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like it's the whole like when you observe something, it behaves and mirrors exactly what you're expecting it to behave towards, right? They science tries to measure a particle, and they can only measure either the wavelength or the mass of it, but they can't measure both at once.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Because when we're both doing AP, it's something that we do at work.
Right.
Josh was my coworker. I was giving a lot of attention to work, bro, because it was
Yeah.
really important. We're doing 12, 13-hour days. I don't want to say neglecting, but the podcast, which I love very much, is in the back of my mind. But once that stopped, bro, I started like meditating and more and thinking about the podcast more and just giving it a lot more attention. Dude, my viewer content went up and my likes on Instagram, all that stuff. This poster has a lot to do with it.
Oh, sweet!
um,
It's a sweet ass poster,
yeah,
right?
it is, bro. But that's just like it's not coincidence, bro. It's not
Yeah.
coincidence that
Yeah.
that happened. It actually happened.
Yeah.
But back to quantum jumping. How does that work, bro?
I mean, it's as I said, like you put your thoughts into it, and you don't think you want to actually have something happen, but it happens anyway. And what we don't realize is that a lot of our thinking, if you sit alone with your thoughts for like 20 minutes, you're gonna find that there's a lot of programming that's like so negative.
Not really, bro.
I mean, it
I've been.
doesn't have to be. It
No,
doesn't
no,
have to
not
be.
anymore. I got rid
But
of
a
that.
lot of people, right?
Big time, bro. Big
Like
time. I have to catch myself too, especially at work.
exactly.
If
You
things
have your
aren't going
negative
my way,
thoughts.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So quantum jumping really comes down to a sense of assuming that you're in a state where you are your best version of yourself. So if you actually think of, hey, I'm going to be sitting here for like 20 minutes, I'm going to do meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you actually imagine yourself like going to be the best version of yourself, who's a doctor or who's a philanthropist or something who's like this, someone who's accomplished a whole hell of a lot more than what you feel like you've done in this lifetime right now.
Right.
So quantum jumping is basically you're going into an alpha state of mind that will eventually go into delta and theta states of wavelength that you access your subjective mind and you convince it that you are actually in that place already.
So you're in the operating room,
Yeah, exactly.
and you're switching on different things, and you're
You're
reprogramming.
pulling the levers of your mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're reprogramming your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that happens, somehow I've noticed like you made twice as less mistakes, and you're twice as efficient into
Yeah.
achieving your goal. So you're able to achieve your goal 4 times faster.
Yeah.
If not 8 times or 12 times.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, I've been able to do that. Um, but I've heard of quantum jumping, like where it's just kind of like instantaneous, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because these things take a while. Like you
Yeah.
have to work on it, you know. Because some people have a lot of barriers that have to jump through, even inside their mind. But some people aren't. Like someone explained, like the 2 water cups. You pour one of them into the other, and you drink it, and you're like, "Oh, this has already happened."
Yeah. It's like the deja vu
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
I brought up to this earlier. Like you're familiar with the Mandela effect, right?
Big time. We were talking about that. Oh man, that's crazy, bro. So explain to the viewers what the
So
Mandela effect
Mandela
is.
effect is the essential memory collective or individual who remembers things differently than how it is now. Like people think the Monopoly man has a monocle.
He did, bro.
He doesn't now.
He did.
But if you look back, I mean,
That's not the main one. I mean, I
mean, it's one of them. But there's the Peanut Man.
Here's the one that really caught me. I remember I used to work out at Gold's Gym back in Los Angeles, and I used to run all the time in front of the TV for like 45 minutes an hour, and it's kind of
Right.
boring. So I used to watch the TV, and I remember reading like President Obama congratulates Nelson Mandela
Yeah.
for being released from prison. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. He even flew out there. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised the president would fly out to Kenya to personally thank him because he apparently was his hero.
That's
And I was like,
awesome.
yeah, it was. But that kind of like, there's an emotional connection to that, bro. I was like, that's awesome. And I really like Obama, bro. I don't care
Mhm.
what your political stance is.
Right.
He was just, good president, well spoken. But and then a couple years later, or a couple months later, and I remember reading, same place, I was in the same place, running on the treadmill. It's like President Nelson Mandela dies in prison. President Obama is sad. And, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I stopped for a second. I was like, it was kind of like I was like kind of like dumbfounded. I was like,
Yeah.
what happened? Like I specifically remember President Obama flying to Kenya, and I thought about it for a minute. I shaked off. I was like, oh, maybe it's just me. And then like, yeah, I'm like, maybe it's just me. I brushed up, but I was like, no, there's something not right, bro. Like it didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
It just didn't sit well with me. Like someone lying to you,
Mhm.
literally. But I wasn't half asleep. I wasn't on the couch. I was on the treadmill running, bro. Like fully alert.
Right.
Fully alert on the treadmill. Both
Yeah.
times. It's funny enough, I was in the same place when I heard the news both times.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, people are talking about the Mandela effect. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So there's like
Yeah. Google it,
paradigm
man.
shift.
Mandela effect. There's so many examples. I know that's a personal example. I don't have anything that great come to mind immediately, but
But that when I
it's-
heard about it, I was like, holy shit, bro, that same exact thing happened to me.
right.
But it was just like a thing where it was like, this is not right, bro. Like
Yeah.
there's something off here. Someone's lying to me.
Right.
The system, there's a glitch in the matrix.
Yes, the Matrix. That's seeing the cat go past you twice, right?
Yeah, that means they changed something, bro. But there's hundreds of thousands of people that could swear to the same thing that I did. I'm not crazy, bro. Like that. Like I'm not saying I'm not seeing ghosts and stuff like that, but that particular instance, like really did not sit well with me. Like there's something wrong, I carried on with my day as if it was normal, but then when I reflect upon it now, it's like, dude, there's something not right.
Yeah, dude, it's so wicked cool that whether it's a higher power intelligence or something that is just kind of going in, that's just like going into the inserting a slot in the
But
past.
but do you think that's a higher power of intelligence, or do you think it's like people's consciousness, or maybe people having a paradigm shift?
Well, I think that it's something. I mean, if God is infinite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he got to be thinking mathematically beyond our comprehension, and something. And obviously, we have a direct influence
Because we're
in that,
connected to
because
one with
right, it's
source.
all one field source, and so we are that influence. We just have our five physical senses that we're just like messing around with. That
Six, bro. Technically
well,
seven,
I
apparently.
mean, we're branching out eventually.
Yeah.
The flying squirrel didn't learn how to fly first just by just flying. It had developed that.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the flying squirrel technically doesn't know how to fly until you kind of like push it off the tree.
It's got to jump,
It's got to jump,
not a half-hearted jump. It's got to jump.
or if you push it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might fall to their grave,
Sure.
but some people like I feel like when there's that emotional click,
Yeah.
some people just develop something, just like literally in like X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what happened
Yeah.
to Magneto
Right.
when they killed his mom, it caused an emotional reaction, and he was able to control magnets. Some people
Right.
are just able to do stuff like that, bro. Like there's
Yeah.
like this emotional thing that happens to you. What do you think that's from? Because I've met a lot of people that are like mystical and spiritual, and they've had like rough childhoods.
Mm.
They're able to develop something from that.
It's. I mean, when you have a high amount of intense emotion in any given point in time, you actually can trigger certain abilities.
So this really shown that kids that are sexually molested end up
Yeah.
being psychic later in life.
Yep.
That's just a fact.
Yep. I mean, it's shown, grown to show, or grown to show.
It's gone to show.
Gone
maybe?
to show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That if you go through any sort of emotional trauma, as rough as it is, it really will actually trigger any sort of power structure that, like ESP or things like that. You don't have to go through emotional trauma
Yeah.
like that, but
It does it. Yeah. It does something. Is that you think that it triggers a gene or something that's dormant in you?
Yeah. I mean, that's what the whole concept of the X-Men's about, right? It's all these people going through like these emotional traumas of not being accepted, or going through a molestation, or any sort of like trauma that just basically affects a something that their soul needs to go through.
I mean, sadly, I hope that they don't go through it. They could trigger it different ways too, bro.
They can.
Through deep meditation, epigenetics. But I mean, most people don't really know that stuff until they actually go through it and they're like,
Right.
wait, I'm not the only one.
Right. But I mean, when it comes to learning how to develop these gifts,
Yeah.
obviously it can happen upon them, or you can learn how to tap into it. But we as human beings are fundamentally, we know how we are that ability.
Yeah, we are. We all are, bro. We're all connected to source. We all
Yeah.
are source. I was listening to Oprah on the way here, and she quoted someone. She said, we're not human beings trying to have a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings trying to have a human experience.
Yeah.
And we're all connected, to source. And everything that's possible in this world is possible for us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I mean, when it comes down to like, because our thoughts are like tiny microscopic electricity pulses, and I was just kind of looking into it, like the quantum realm is like tiny microscopic.
Subatomic?
Yeah. If like the apple was magnified to like the size of the Earth,
Uh-huh.
and the apple in conjunction to it would be like the atom to that would be the size of the apple.
And
Right?
what's inside that?
Yeah, exactly. And then once you go look at the apple and at that point of view, then you got to have all these electrons, protons, things like the nucleus is like 1/1000th of a billionth the size of
But
the atom in itself.
I've read most of it is just empty. People say it's empty, but it's really not empty. It's more like energy.
It's a field, but
It's
it's
energy,
all
yeah.
connected.
Yeah.
And so when it's all connected like that, that means that, I mean, Deepak Chopra, a famous spiritual author.
And he's
Who,
a doctor,
yeah,
medical doctor.
right. Oh my gosh, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that. That's
You didn't
cool.
know that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, he's a medical doctor, bro.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What he said was that the spiritual, the quantum realm, is where the rubber meets the road. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but
I like that.
where you basically the quantum realm is where the spiritual God source and everything meets the material world.
Nice. Good. It's finally we brushed up on it. I've been reading a lot about that, bro. Like Niels Bohr.
Hmm.
He got into a big argument with Einstein because Einstein was against that theory.
He was
Big
yeah.
time. He was like, "What are you talking about, bro? Like classical mechanics of physics is the
Mhm.
way we're going." And he
Right.
got into it with Niels Bohr, and Bohr's like, "No, you're wrong." And then Einstein's like, "Dude, let me explain something to you." He's like, "God does not play dice with the universe."
Right.
And Niels Bohr's like, "Stop trying to tell God what to do." Like, who are you, bro? Just stop trying to tell God what to do. And then at the end, after like all this research, and then everybody was siding with Niels Bohr, and then like Einstein's like, you know what, like I looked into this, and you're absolutely correct. At least he came on later on in life. He's like, you're correct.
Yeah.
He said, we
You
just don't
can't- you
understand it.
can't-
We just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't disprove that nothing's happening, man.
Yeah, there's definitely something. But here's the part that most scientists are like hush hush about. They're like, when you observe it, it changes
Mhm.
and it does what you want. That's literal proof that our minds can reshape the world. Like literally,
Right.
it's like the Matrix. We reshape it.
Yep. Yeah, we all have a direct influence.
Yes, it has
yeah.
it's on a very, 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 very small scale.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. But what if you concentrate and work really, really hard? How do you harness that?
I mean, so we basically have to entertain our conscious mind that goes into the subjective mind. Once the subjective mind hears a message, it accepts it without question, without judgment, whatever thoughts we give into it. And then our subjective mind is the one with the creative force of the universe, and then puts it into the quantum realm, which is our world. Our world is fundamentally made of the quantum. So when you actually have our dominant desires and thoughts and beliefs held in the subjective mind, it moves us into realities that are consistent with the fields that we think about all the time. So it's anything that happens in our life isn't random at all.
Yeah, I don't believe that. When they're like coincidence, I like to slap those people. Sometimes like at work when we call our clients and they get like 50 phone calls a day and they pick up our phone call, they're like, "Oh, I just picked up. It was just a coincidence." I was like, "No, it's not a coincidence."
Yeah.
I was like, I'm here to help you. Just follow up with you."
Reality's talking to you all the time.
Yeah. And I've noticed a lot of people I talk to, bro. I mean, we talk about our work. We're in the healthcare field.
Right.
Like some of these people, they're like, they get cancer when they overcome it. I always like to just stop and just talk to them, like, "Hey, how'd you overcome it?" It's like, I just told myself, I'm just gonna overcome this cancer. It's just gonna go away. It's like I didn't care what the doctor said. Is that it might be hard headed, but I did it, and guess what? My cancer's gone. And I've heard this from like dozens of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, bro, there's something there. There's like the will of a superior being can far surpass matter.
Right. I mean, when you actually develop into the quantum realm and actually work with your actual inner thoughts, that really is a cure of all
big time.
cancer.
I feel like the most people are like only able to do it for their health because I feel like that's what they want the most. What does a really sick person want more than anything else in the world, bro? Just one thing.
To feel better.
To feel better, be healthy, right?
Yeah.
That's it, bro. It's not that hard. If you just concentrate on that one thing, you will feel better.
Absolutely.
When like versus like I want the fast car, I want the hot girl with the big breasts, whatever you're into. I want to travel the whole world. Like there's too many variables, you know.
But even more than
you
that,
can do that.
I
you,
mean,
you can still do it. Don't get me wrong. But versus someone that's like sick that has like pancreatic cancer stage 2, it's like I don't care. I'm just gonna get better, and I just want to be healthy and go hang out with my daughter, and just works really hard to be healthy. Guess what? They didn't get healthy, man. And I wish them the best. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're forcing creative visualization and trusting that what you think about and what you believe in it's already happened.
One thing you said about trust, I meet a lot of people, like when I tell them I have a podcast and I'm just trying to pick people's brains to help them better, like, yeah, man, I totally believe in that. And then they're like taking like 4 medications. I was like, bro, if you totally believe in that, why are you taking all these drugs,
Yeah.
Like there's something in their subconscious
Mm-hmm.
that's stopping them from totally believing it. They
Yeah.
might believe it, or they heard the story from other people. Maybe they're starting to accept it,
I mean,
but
they're forcing creation, but they're not like aligning to what they actually,
yeah.
what they
What
actually really need.
what would be a picture of someone like that that didn't believe and then they're starting to believe? What would they do differently? What would you say? Like, what would their behavior be so it could be congruent with their belief?
I mean, it would be start focusing on what matters most to you, and you distill it down.
Just have a clear intention.
Yeah, clear intention of what you actually really, really want more than anything else, and don't complicate it. I want to just feel just better. I just want to, you know, actually live another 30 years, and then once you actually have like some sort of like clear intention,
Hmm.
then you can actually start put some specificity to it, and actually build a life around it. You actually in your mind's eye, you have a visualization technique, that you imagine a problem, right? And a problem really isn't a problem. It's a furniture that you just bought from IKEA that you've got to assemble, right? So basically, what I would tell them is, uh, morning and night, like think of your problem. Um,
Your problem solved.
well, think of your problem and actually put a mental movie to it, right? Without any judgment or anything like that, just run a mental movie of what's going on in your life that is affecting it. And then do it with your eyes open. And then do it again with your eyes closed. And you just think of the problem. Don't think of a solution yet, just think of the problem. And then you're going to do it again, but think of the problem, run that mental movie again, and you actually think of a creative visual way to think of your problem being resolved in some way that is not necessarily like forcing creation that's going to hurt others or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a way
I've
that,
I've
yeah,
been taught a different way. That like think of the problem and the problem just completely solved. You don't have to worry about how it gets solved.
right. There's lots of ways you can actually think
But
about
that
it.
one works out for me for better because then you just set it out, and like
Yeah.
somehow it just seeps into your subconscious mind,
So,
and it just gets solved, bro.
right.
Maybe you worked on it. Maybe you're like, instead of falling asleep, I'll spend the extra 30 minutes trying to build that IKEA couch
Yeah.
today, and then once again next week, and then within 2 weeks, your couch is built.
Yeah.
That's done.
Right.
But yeah,
You set your problems in a box and you put it outside the room, and
that's
and
funny that you
wake
said a
up.
box.
Yeah.
It's called out of the box thinking.
Ah,
That's funny,
nice.
bro. That's just that. Yeah. That's,
Your mind's
yeah.
think alike.
Yeah. Well, because you're in a certain box, you're in a certain mind
Mhm.
state, and then you just jump into a different box,
Yeah, exactly.
and then in that other box, your couch is already built.
Right.
Bada bing, bada boom. Now enjoy watching the movie on your couch. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. So you have some notes.
Um,
What are these notes about?
well, I brought up a couple of them. The apple magnifying to the size of the earth.
That was good.
That was pretty awesome. I was pretty proud of that one. There's also um, where thinking about the realm of spirit is basically our absolute realm of all love, all wisdom and power and peace. So one of my favorite New Thought authors, would be, why can't I think of it? Neville Goddard.
Never got it?
Yeah, Neville Goddard. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, of course I have.
Yeah. So his whole thing was basically your imagination creates your
Yeah,
reality.
he's talking about movies, right?
Yeah.
He's
well,
like, when you're watching the movie, you're not thinking about the director, all this. Like, just enjoy the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. So I mean, his whole philosophy was basically that you are God. There is no separateness outside of you, and you actually imagine yourself as who you want to be, not just for yourself, but you imagine it for everybody. And that's why Buddha always said that when I awaken, the world awakened, right? But it's basically you're imagining everything in your life becoming much more coherent and clear than you ever thought it would be. And if you actually want to, like, maybe go to Los Angeles or something like that,
Yeah.
and you think about, like, think of like Hawaii from where we're at now in
Mm-hmm.
Utah, right? So think of like I imagine myself in Hawaii, but then you can also imagine yourself in Los Angeles, thinking about being in Hawaii as well. Um, so you can actually imagine yourself in so many different places at once, um, and it starts moving particles in a way that actually brings that about to your reality.
It does. I've heard it's a little more challenging once you add more factors to it.
Yeah.
More when you add more things to it. Like you're in Utah, you're imagining yourself in Los Angeles, and then in Hawaii, there's more factors that have to play into it versus saying just one clear line. You're in Los Angeles, and then you're in, or you're
Right.
in Utah, then you're in Los Angeles. It's
Right.
easier. I mean, it's all possible, bro.
But you're stretching your imagination to do
You
it.
are, bro. You are, and that every time you work that muscle, it gets stronger,
Exactly.
right?
You start flexing.
One, I'll tell you a
You're
story. So, about a year before, actually, I got my car,
yeah.
December like 26th. It was a white Prius. I have it right now. I got into a car accident about a year and a half ago. I had a 2017
Mm.
white Prius, and it got T-boned going to
Oh
the gym.
wow.
That's why I used that scenario because I didn't snooze. Yeah. I maybe changed the course of my life. But what happened is I was trying to buy a car, and there was like a shortage on cars. The car's worth like 27, 28 grand, bro, brand new, which I love that car. I wanted the same thing.
Right.
I was looking for a 2022, and I looked all over Utah, bro. It was like 36 grand, 37. I was like, I'm not paying this much. So I just pictured myself flying to Los Angeles, buying it there, and then just driving it back.
Yeah.
That's literally what happened, bro.
Wow.
I went there. I
It
talked
is
to
so- it
five
is so
different
simple.
dealerships. They're like, we don't have it. I talked to like all these brokers that find cars for it. Like, yeah, we don't have that car. Or if they do, it's like 40 grand. It's marked up.
Mhm.
I'm like, bro, the car's worth 27. They're like, oh, it's a shortage. And then my friend's like, hey, just go to that dealership, just cross street, talk to them. I was like, all right, whatever. So I go. The guy's like, all right, just leave a $500 deposit. We have it for 27,
Nice.
27.50, and then you could come back a month later and pick it up. I was like, well, this isn't how exactly how I pictured it. I'm like, but it's not over yet. And I gave him the down payment. He called me back the very next day. He's like, hey, someone else that was supposed to pick up the white Prius that you want, the same model, the same
Mhm.
make. He's like, he just canceled. He's like, if you want it, it's yours. If you want to come down, I was like, I'll be there in an hour.
That's
And I
dope.
literally went. They checked my credit, no problem. Grabbed the car, drove home to my parents' house, and I drove back. Literally, that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, for the price that I wanted. Because I didn't save 8 grand.
Yeah.
But it was just that mental movie. I pictured myself like in the car, tired, driving back. Exactly the same scenario, bro, and it happened.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly
But
how.
I really wanted it. I
Yeah.
really wanted that to happen, bro.
Right.
And it wasn't something special. It wasn't a fucking Ferrari. It wasn't a Porsche. It was a car that I love, bro. And it's a Toyota Prius. And I get 50 miles a gallon.
Heck yeah.
And, and you know, like, but I feel comfortable with that car. I've had it before. That's the car I wanted, bro. Like, but I really wanted it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the next thing. You have to really define what you really want more than anything else that you just like.
But here's more factors that were added onto it. There's nothing in my subconscious or my conscious mindset that I couldn't have that car. First, it was way below my price range,
Mhm.
or within my price range. Let's say I could afford it. It wasn't like a Ferrari where I have to like think of like, bro, it's like 200 grand. The bill's like 1,500. How am I gonna afford this? None of that was playing a factor. It was just the
Mhm.
fact that I just find this car and I'm gonna buy it and just drive it back. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody listening, like if you actually have like
Contradicting yourself.
contradict yourself, you don't believe you have enough or anything like that, just picture a statement in your mind that God is the source of my infinite supply.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
What would you say is the mindset difference between lack and just abundance?
Of just lack and to abundance. Yeah.
Just this is exactly what you said.
Yeah.
God is the
exactly.
infinite supply.
I mean, you have to start changing your mental attitude towards everything. Everything is abundance. You doing your dishes is abundance. Like you just have to be grateful for everything. Gratitude is the one key that a lot of people just kind of miss out on because
Mhm.
they just kind of let their mental monkey mind run the show. So it takes conscious effort to actually start becoming more positive
It
and
does, bro. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: the payoff is way better, bro, than
Oh,
having to
so
work
it
your
is.
ass off and leaving things to
It's
chance.
easier too.
It is easy. After a while, it gets easier,
Yeah.
but maybe not at first because it's foreign to you.
Right.
But
Right.
after a while, it just becomes easier, bro. Like I even tell myself I'm lucky, and when I go into parking spots, like right now, bro, I was like, "Is
Mhm.
there a parking spot?" I'm like, "Wait, I'm lucky, bro," and I just pulled in. There's a parking spot right in front.
Yeah.
Versus I had to walk like half a block.
And there's only like one parking space like out of the
I was,
entire thing. Yeah.
yeah, I
It
was
was,
telling my and I was like,
it
right
was
there, it
pretty
was mine.
wild.
Yeah, I mean, but I let those things happen to me all the time, bro, and it just makes
Mhm.
my life easier, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Some people could say it's coincidence. I think not. I like to think that way. Just think optimistically, and it tends to happen. And there's studies where, based on random variables, people that think they're lucky end up getting luckier.
mhm.
Like somehow in like the gambling or just like statistics and probability
Yeah.
versus people that are not.
Right.
There's something though.
There,
I'm not saying it's a big difference. It can be if you believe
I
more and
mean,
more.
there's a woman out there. I can't remember her name was Helen Hadsel. She was known as the contest queen because any contest she participated in, she won. She knew how to do it because she used the what was it called, the silver mind technique. She was like the secretary to Jose Silva himself.
Who's Jose Silva?
Jose Silva is a scientist, philosopher who developed the Silva technique.
I heard of it, but it doesn't sound familiar.
So it's basically he developed meditation. He's basically the one who brought meditation to the West.
Okay.
And he actually had his kids develop, or basically he had his kids actually develop ESP by actually going in and actually he just wanted his kids to get better grades, man.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted, and so he just had them sit there and just like mentally picture having better grades, and then like he would give them question and answers, and even before he would start to pose the question, she would already answer him right off the bat after like hearing the question in her own mind before he said the question.
Whoa.
And it's like,
What? I never even heard of this guy.
yeah, dude, it's
Jose Silva?
Jose Silva. He popularized meditation in 1960s.
Is that more meditation or like manifestation?
No, it's meditation.
Probably both,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. So what's the silver method or
It,
Silva?
it's the what I brought up to you before was have the mental movie screen in your mind's eye where you think of the problem, and then you actually develop it. And I might not have been saying it correctly.
It's okay. It's okay. Is the foundation correct though? In a
Oh
sense?
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's all we need, bro.
Oh, dude, and it's
I always encourage people to do those.
yeah, look it up. Like look up the 3 scenes technique.
3 scenes.
3 scenes technique.
Okay, what is that?
Basically, you think of the problem, think of a solution to the problem, and then you think of the life after the problem is already solved.
Yeah,
But so you're basically you're easing your mind into believing the problem's already solved.
Do you have to think about how the problem is solved, or that's irrelevant?
It could. I honestly,
I don't like to get into that part.
and it's not for everybody. I
yeah.
mean,
Well, I mean, because it
or you put your
complicates
own
things,
spin.
bro. Because it complicates things for me. Because
yeah.
think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, the problem's solved. How is it solved? You're stupid. No, this. I'm like, no, it's already
Could
solved.
be.
And
And
then
maybe
somehow it
I'm-
gets solved, bro.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just not like explaining it correctly, because I'm just like learning it myself.
But the Silva method is that
Yeah.
like clearing your mind and just being able to focus on the solution.
Yeah.
And this lady would win all the time the contest.
Mhm.
And what was it, like a beauty pageant contest or like whatever?
Lottery. Like she would.
Oh, like random chance
Yeah.
contests.
Yeah, absolutely. She would imagine that she already won the lottery and she would win it.
Would they call her Miss
The contest queen.
the contest queen?
Contest queen. Yeah, Helen Hadsel.
But that's now there's quantum physics
Right.
proving that you are changing your reality, bro.
Right.
Which is awesome. I hope most people do it for good things. Because
Right.
here's the thing: if we're all connected to God and we all have abundance of everything, and you have infinite, bro, would you really want to hoard all that stuff?
Right.
If you have unlimited supply, like what are you gonna do with an unlimited supply of money, bro?
Yeah.
Really, like unlimited, like $1 million a year in your
People
bank account is awesome, bro. You know, you do whatever
Right.
you want in life, and then you
People-
just turn around and help other people.
Exactly.
Right.
You gotta turn around to help the others, and because people don't really think about what they would do if they actually had a lot of money.
I would just help other people and just travel the
Yeah.
world, bro. That's
Yeah.
it. and
Yeah,
just keep doing my podcast.
same.
But
Yeah.
I've been thinking more and more about my podcast and just how successful it is.
Mhm.
And it's just like just making it more successful, bro.
Mhm.
And like how I feel like just having 30,000 people and the people randomly walking up to me and just hugging me like, "Thank, I love your podcast," and it would just like make me cry, bro. Like meditating, and I was like, bro, but I'm feeding it more energy, more and more energy.
Yeah, dude.
But that's just how you have to do it,
Yeah.
right? And plus, but it's coming from a good place. It's not like, oh, I just want this so I could just make this money. Like I also want to help people, you know.
Mhm.
And I got that wishing box, bro.
Oh yeah, you were telling about that. Tell me,
Yeah,
what is
so
that?
man, the wishing box is apparently like when you said you have to resonate, right?
Mhm.
When you're meditating.
Yeah.
So this wishing box has a bunch of knobs, and
You sent me a picture of
yeah,
it.
I did. And on the left side, if you saw two boxes on the top of the knobs, one of
Yeah.
them is where you put the picture of what you want, really,
Okay.
and the other one is like where you keep going like this and you twist the knobs. You're trying to find the right frequency of what your
Whoa.
intention is, because you know how you have to the law of resonance or the
Yeah.
law of vibration. You have to be on the right frequency of what you want in your life,
Okay.
right, for it to actually happen.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to manifest something, this thing actually finds the frequency of what you want.
And then you just sit in that frequency.
Yeah, and you just let it go, bro.
That's awesome.
Because already found the frequency. You just
Right,
leave it alone,
right.
and just like keeps on.
Let go of the outcome.
Yeah, let go of the outcome because you already know the right frequency. Because when you're
Exactly.
manifesting, like sometimes, bro, you do it after work.
Yeah.
You're kind of beat down. There's some stuff going on. You know, you don't really find yourself. Or maybe you do, but you always have to be at like the right frequency or the right vibration, as the
Right.
term is. This thing literally helps you find the vibration, or as we could say, the frequency of what you want.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like handmade. There's crystals and stuff, and the guys like there's like different instructions on how to use it. One of the methods I just left it alone, bro. I just visualized my podcast,
Mhm.
and I just left it alone after I did it. And like I'm telling you, dude, the whole day, every time I check, I have like 10 more followers. Every time I check my Instagram, I'm like, dude, what's going on?
Oh my god.
So it's actually
that's
working. You know?
Beautiful.
Literally, like within a day and a half, I went from like 300 to 350. Like followers. I'm like, okay, you know, like, oh, is
Yeah.
this random chance that in one day that I mess with this like machine
I'm
that's
getting this
voodoo?
wishing box.
Yeah, and
This
then it
is
just
so
got
cool.
50. Yeah, maybe it's not like 500,000, but you know, like it's hey, dude, I'll take it. That's like 18% increase in one day.
mean,
That's
the
18.
price of admission, the outcomes what you're getting here.
Yeah,
This
but
amplifiers.
it definitely, but that's what it does. It just
Yeah.
amplifies what your wishes. The guy that explains it, that is actually the one that actually kind of like he didn't invent it, but he kind of like discovered it, and like he works with the main guy, and they just make it together. He's like,
Wait, so they handmade these things? Like,
yeah, they handmade it. So the guy that found the original
Like-
one is very old,
yeah.
and he's like, oh, he bought it for $300.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, oh, I'm just gonna wish for my $300 back. And then the same day, he got a phone call like, hey, some guys are doing some convention and they need someone. We'll pay you $300. And he's like, what the hell? And it's like, he's like, I want my $300 back. And that worked. And just a bunch of stuff. But you have to find the right frequency
Yeah.
of what you want. There's like 9 or 12 different dials. And once you find that, you just let it go, bro. So just forget about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you want will be attracted because you're right on the right frequency, you know? Because you have to find the right, I guess, mental frequency, vibration, and you just wish for that thing to happen. It's called the wishing box.
Wishing
Super
box.
interesting. So here's the way you describe it. It's like, do you really need this? They're like, no. It's like, imagine you have to walk from, let's just say, Las Vegas to New York.
Yeah.
Or you have to get there. There's many ways of getting there, bro.
Right.
Do you really want to walk there? Which is very slow.
Right.
You will eventually get there. It might take you like 6 months, but you'll get there. Or you could take a bicycle.
Yeah.
You'll get there maybe like 4 times faster. It'll take you a month, bro. You could take a car. If you drive every day, it'll take you like a good 3-4 days to get there. Or you
Right.
could take a plane, and it'll take you 3-4 hours to get there. Me, I would take a moped and just have a fucking hell of an adventure along the way. I thought about that. I was like, I'm
Right?
doing 50 miles
So
an hour.
You could
cruising.
get there like faster than anybody else, but like
No,
it's
I don't
not-
wanna
it's
get
not
there
the
faster.
destination, it's the journey.
Yeah,
right?
but I don't want to get there faster than anyone else,
Right.
bro. At that point, I'll be like just having a blast. Have an abundance of money.
Right.
I would just be on a moped, bro, doing like 40, 50, doing 200-300 miles a day. What's the rush, bro? I know I'm going to get there,
Yeah.
and I'm going to have fun. I'll do all these detours, go into some biker bar, be the only one with the moped, have them
Yeah,
laugh
and that-
at me.
and that's what people need to remember as well, right? It's not necessarily because once you get the thing,
Yeah,
it's not what you thought it would be once you get it.
yeah.
But it's the attitude, it's the right attitude of just like enjoying the journey, enjoying your actual process of getting the thing that you know you already
Yeah.
have, no matter when it's gonna come.
Yeah, but I mean, but then yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. Like you get to New York, I mean, you have to ask yourself, why am I going to New York? Is it gonna really make me happy? You get to New York, yeah, of course it's gonna. I mean, if the end goal
Right.
will probably make you happy, but just me being on that moped for like 3 weeks, bro, doing cross country will be fucking hella fun, bro.
Oh
In the
my
summer,
gosh,
you
dude.
know,
Yeah.
like, and you have like 50 grand in your bank account, and you
Yeah.
don't even need that money.
Yeah,
You're like, hell yeah, dude, I'm just gonna have an adventure, bro.
bro.
But that's what the wishing box is. Like, it'll help you get there faster.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
like
I'm
how
looking into
fast do you
that.
want to get there? I mean, depends. There's different ones where like our frequency. There's ones where like you do a pendulum. If you can't find the right frequency, you just
Mm-hmm.
ask the pendulum,
Mm-hmm.
stop or start swinging when I find the right tune. Where there's ones where like you just leave it to the universe and you just twist it and you just let it go. There's
Yeah.
like different methods of doing it. I tried
Right.
this one.
Right.
It's working.
Yep.
But I think the thing is, there's like crystals and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's amped up to like copper and gold, so it's
Yeah.
supposed to send out a frequency.
Right.
Um, it's called psionics.
Science.
Yeah, sound and frequency, how you
Okay.
send it off.
Yeah.
It's cool, dude. I mean, like, the thing is, what do I really have to lose, bro? Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, maybe a couple bucks, but it's a cool thing to mess
Yeah.
around with. I'll get some podcasts out of it. I haven't contacted the guy. I'm like, bro, they even message you. They're like, what are you gonna use this machine for? Like, is it for money? I'm like, no, it's not really for money. I have a podcast where this stuff is right up my alley, and I just want to help other people and also travel at the same time and just
Yeah.
become, just have a successful podcast. And they're like, oh, they're like, okay. I'm like, would you guys want to be on my podcast? They're like, yeah, let me know. Yeah, see,
That's really cool, man.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. And another thing you might know, dude, there's like these pitching forks. This has an off topic
Yeah.
where apparently like they're able to heal people's cancer. Have you heard of stuff like that?
Oh yeah, tuning forks.
Yeah, tuning forks.
Yeah.
Were like scientifically proven like lupus and stuff like that, they decrease it by like 40-50% within like
Yep.
days.
Devices that just kind of help a direct signal into whatever part you actually need to, and it just immediately starts fixing it.
Yeah.
The molecules and
Yeah, it's like
structuring what it needs to.
it's like one of Tesla's inventions, where they like shock people
Yeah.
or like stimulates a certain area, like you
Right,
just said.
right.
Hydrogen is a mainstream.
Oh, for real, dude. It is starting to. It's
It
starting
is,
to,
bro.
but it's a slow process.
It is, man.
But yeah, and just try and start to quantum jump in of itself. What people like try to confuse themselves with is you're not trying to manifest anything. What you're really doing is you're becoming the best version of yourself that you can be.
I need to think of that more, bro. Just the best version of myself.
Yeah, the best version of yourself. So
Well,
so you imagine like you're meditating and you actually see the best version of yourself. You see him doing the things that you think that they would be doing at being running a successful business. How would they walk? How would they breathe? What's their mannerisms? And you just observe them, and you observe them walking up to you and you interact with you, right? And you imagine them giving you an activity to do, and you just start doing it. And then you imagine them just like walking into you, all of that, right? And so you actually pick up their mannerisms. That person is you right now, because past doesn't exist, future doesn't exist. We only have the now. And so all we're doing is we as beings are in a superposition. Superposition meaning that we're just in the universe and can just move to any different place anywhere in the universe now. So you actually just use your thoughts and you just walk into
yeah.
that reality.
Or you can say you bring it to your present moment.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
that's super cool, bro. I think that's a great way to leave the episode. That's awesome, bro. Josh, always a well of knowledge. Thank you. I
Yeah.
feel like you've done a lot of research on this, and especially with you caught my attention with the spiritual intelligence. I was like, bro, I didn't even think about that, but it's there.
Yeah.
And like we are all spiritual beings, so we have some certain sense of spiritual intelligence.
Right.
But yeah, man, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do you have some advice for people that could maybe better their lives during the holidays?
Um, I mean, just focus on just being more grateful.
Be more grateful for
Be more
everything you have.
grateful.
You woke up today, bitches. Be more
Yeah,
grateful for that. You know?
you're freaking breathing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I know that things got going on, or it's hard. Shit's hard.
No, it's not hard. I mean,
It can
it can
it
be
can
hard. It
be,
can be hard, but you can also have a paradigm
but the
shift.
hardships are there for a reason, to teach you a beautiful lesson that everything is okay. Everything ultimately is okay, and you will actually get through this, just like
Awesome.
any phase in any
Awesome.
storm.
And if you think you have it bad because you can't afford to buy a pair of shoes, wait until you meet someone that doesn't have feet, and it'll
Right.
put things into perspective.
Absolutely.
Right on. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Help me out. And you guys all have a blessed day. Take care.
Absolutely.